Hey everyone, Marsh from Consequence here. I want to talk about Anduin, the last boss available on the first reset. So, there's a few things that I want to tackle, and I know probably not a lot of people saw this because Artificer in the normal testing was kind of brutal. Um, it's going to go P1, intermission, P2, intermission, final phase. And P1 and P2 are pretty similar, except P1 has Blasphemy and P2 has Fear Ads that you have to deal with. And then in P1 and P2, there's an upstairs and a downstairs phase. So just the core abilities for the outside, you're going to have a barrier, which healers get to heal and players can stand in. You will also have Wicked Stars. In the Wicked Star, the Anduin will shoot out a star, and it will come back to him every time. It does a lot of damage. Don't get hit by it. It's fairly obvious. For melee, watch out when the star is coming back. And in P2, if the star hits an ad, it becomes CC immune. We'll talk about when we get there. The other thing to note is the Blasphemy mechanic. So Blasphemy, you'll get a light and a dark debuff. In the way we handled it is everyone spread, and the light debuffs had 2 to 3 seconds to move a priority before the dark debuff. So they come out light, 1, 2, 3, only light's moving, and then 4, 5, 6 is going to be dark moving or light making small adjustments. If you cannot clear your debuff, you will blow up, causing everyone around you to die. If you hit someone else in the other color, you will blow up, causing everyone to die. So our rule of thumb was if you cannot find a partner, or you, have no choice but you can't get to your partner, just to run away, pop your biggest personal possible, and live. And that was able to live you on heroic and normal testing. I don't know if they fixed that, but that's what we did. And immunities are pretty good there. So the other thing to note in this phase is there's an upstairs and a downstairs phase, and it's due to this Kingsborn Hunger cast. This is a huge frontal that if you stand in, you go to the downstairs realm. So you can pre-set up your groups for the downstairs. Grips are insane on this phase. Like a Blood Death Knight could basically carry the whole phase. And depending on your raid comp, you're going to want to set up certain groups to get certain energy. Each ad down there has... Okay, there's 3 types of ads. There's little DPS ads, big DPS ad, singular, and 4 healing ads, each giving you a certain amount of set energy or willpower, as you call it in the dungeon journal, to give Anduin the power to get you into the next phase. Or maybe him, I don't know the lore. So what we're doing as a guild is our first group we're sending. We run a Blood DK. We'd send our Blood DK down, he'd grip everything together, stack the classes with, or stack the comp with Mass Cleave, send 2 healers to heal the healing ads, and we kill everything and come out. That, in theory, will give him 60 willpower, which means the second group who goes down only needs 40 willpower. So you can look at the ads and look at your comp and be like, what gives us 40? It's better to get ahead early so you can mess up later in the fight. That's what we're doing. Every group's different. So when you're setting up this fight, what's your comp? How are you going to handle it? There's many ways to do it. Druids can root. Druids can CD down there. Ring of Peace keeps ads out of the middle because the small DPS ads will go to the middle. If they reach the middle, they become... you cannot get their energy. The healing ads make it to the edges. You cannot get their energy. So what comp is good for you down there? And setting that up early is going to be critical. I'm going to show you a video of the first phase. So in the first phase here, you're going to get a barrier and the blasphemy. So these are the 2 out of 3 core mechanics, I'd call them, that isn't the downstairs realm. So here it is. Barrier. Good. And then into blasphemy. There's no timers. We didn't have timers. So I just know what's coming. And let's see what debuff I get here. So we're spread. And I get light. So I'm looking for someone to move to. And then dark starts moving like we talked about. And we're good to go. And these 2 people couldn't find their partners. They're on opposite sides. So they just ran away and popped a personal. That's not far enough. I think the explosion's quite large and heroic. So I'll have to review this one more time with my guild. Anyway, Resum. This is the frontal. You saw that there? That Kingsmorn? And that's our first group. I'll be in the second group, I believe, so we'll see it. And down there, they are controlling the ads. We're just running a DPS DK in this group, which is fine. And this is the Wicked Stars. So you see them go out and then come in. They go out. I sidestep at his range. They come in. They go out. They come in. And if you get hit, they do a ton of damage. I think that guy got hit, maybe. So anyway, this group is out. And you basically want to come out before this barrier cast. You get in for barrier, and there's Blasphemy again. This should be Blasphemy if I recall. Yep. So we spread out. Let's see which one I get this time. It's light, so I'm looking to move first. And now dark starts moving. And everyone got their debuffs off. And then Wicked Stars again. I kind of want to get hit to show you guys how much damage it does. This is actually crazy. So now he's going to do the Kingsmorn Hunger cast again. Also, the amount of boss damage you're doing in P1 is actually extremely important, unless they created a soft cap on the boss, which is plausible. So they might just like cap Anduin at like 30%, so you have to do a 30 to 0% burn in the last phase. We'll see how it works on live. That's my theory. That's possible. They could do that. But right now, like all the boss damage you're doing is really important. You'll see why when we lust. So this is the downstairs. You have the big ad and the healer ads. So right now, Resto Shaman is really good down here. So he's just like Vesper Toteming and Cloud Bursting, and they're basically all healed. We have no DK, but again, the first group got 60 energy. So all we're doing is killing the big ad and healing the small ads. That should give us enough energy to get over the top. Done. That's what was our strat. We got 60% energy on the first set, then we get all the healing ads and kill the big ad on the second set. Again, your group could be different. You might want to deal with the DPS ads. Or if your first group messes up and only gives you 50 or 55% energy, you'll have to kill 2 of the small ads. But you don't have to kill the other 2. So you kind of have to be on the fly on what you do. But you saw like our exact strat there. We come out during Wicked Stars, which is super sketchy. But Anduin will teleport to the middle, and the Wicked Stars will go where he ended when you almost saw me get hit there. So this is the intermission. In normal, in heroic, there's something else. So in normal, you basically just nuke down this Fallen King. Potentially, this is where you'd lust, and this is what we were talking about. We didn't do it here, but if Anduin doesn't have a soft cap on his health, where it's like you can't go under 30%, the Fallen King does you do 200% more damage. I believe it's 200 to Anduin. So any damage you do the Fallen King, you're doing to Anduin. As you see, his health is plummeting. One thing to note in heroic, there are big ads. These big ads have an energy bar. Once they get 100 energy, they basically do a cast that will give the whole raid a giant healing absorb, which in a dot, which is like a wipe. So right now we just have all these small ads. We're just passively cleaving them and nuking the boss. However, in heroic with those big ads, we'll probably want to target down the big ads to make sure they don't get 100% energy and cleave onto the Fallen King. And that's it for the phase. So going in P2 here, these markers are here for a reason. This is normal. In heroic, I think there's 5 of these. In normal, there's only 3. So he's going to do a Grim Reflections cast. And what we're going to do is we're going to trap 2 and kill 1. Or I guess trap and paralyze. But then they do a cast. If that goes off, it fears the whole raid. So Shamans be ready to tremor. This Wicked Star, if it hits any of the ads, they cause the ads to become CC and interrupt immune, which causes you the tremor no matter what. So we're just nuking the ads and we're moving the boss one at a time. In heroic, you'll probably want to take the boss in between 2 of the ads because they'll be closer together, and then deal with 2, and then CC the other 3, and then move the boss around and deal with that. So again, there's 5 in heroic, 3 in normal. What we think. Again, Kingsmorn Hunger, group 1's going to go in. And group 2 is going to have all the mechanics that aren't Blasphemy. And remember, you have the Grim Reflections instead of Blasphemy. So we have the Bearer. Wicked Stars again, and the other group should be coming out shortly. So we're just dodging, and it's really important, like at least in heroic, like the group doesn't come out during Wicked Stars because they could just get trucked. So that this would be a really safe time for them to come out, which they did. And then we do these phase again with the 3, so we CC2. One broke there, which is unfortunate, so we just beam it, yeah. And we're just going to move around, and that's it. Then Kingspawn 2 is going to come out. And I cannot see for the life of me how much energy Anduin has. Okay, he has 60 energy. So now we know it's the same thing. Big ad. And you see the Vesper Totem? Instantly healed. It's actually nuts. So now we just nuke the big ad. Done. So the only issue with that is that was probably too soon. As you see, there's still like the ad up. But that's our strat. And we're going to go into P2. Now P2 intermission is the exact same as P1 intermission, except there's walls. We lust here. Probably not good because of the wall, like moving for the walls. You'll probably see them get ripped out of my wild spirits, for example. So these are the walls. They're going to come over. You're just dodging. Again, in heroic, you're going to have the big boy that you have to deal with. And we're just moving around. Basically, it's up to the tanks to drive the bus, and we are following the tank. And these small ads, they'll jump to you. And I think in heroic, they actually blow up if they're like when they die. So you don't like it'll just it's like a healing thing. It'll like do like 12 or 13k damage to everyone around it. But we're jumping around, we're moving. The boss is not moving well. It's coming over now. And see what we did here is we pushed the boss to 14% health with our lust. And I think if we lusted in the first intermission, it'd be like at 10%. Maybe not, maybe like 12%. But what you're going to see here in the last phase, I'm going to go over it in a second. Get your Beacon of Hope, which is a pool in the middle, so you don't want to end the intermission in the middle of the room. If not, you'll use all the stacks. Very, very important. Do not end P2 intermission in the middle of the room. Do not end P2 intermission in the middle of the room. Very bad. So basically, the core mechanic of this phase is that everyone gets blasphemy, but it's all dark debuffs. So you cannot clear a debuff unless you purge it with the beacon in the middle of the room, which is light. And when you hit it, it causes you to clear your debuff, and it causes a little pool to go on the ground that anyone else with a blasphemy debuff can stand in and clear their debuff. There's also Wicked Stars, and I don't remember normal testing if they were testing the mythic mechanic. I think they were. So in non-mythic, this pool here, you'll see him cast blasphemy. Any second. Okay, hopelessness. So everyone has dark debuff here, and we're going to clear the debuffs, and you'll see a pool of light right there. Pull a light, pull a light, pull a light. We're falling behind, so I'm probably telling people to run in. And you can, pretty sure you can immune these. Okay, these things flying around the room, you'll see it come by again. There, that. There it is. These are the mythic mechanic. They're testing it in normal, so they won't exist. I have no strategy for them. It doesn't matter. Dealing with the hopelessness again here. Like obviously we got the boss to 14%, so we're just gonna kill it. But see how this pool has shrunk a lot. So we've kind of came up with like a potential strategy to deal with it, and this is the image I want to look at. So this is like our clear strategy that I kind of came up with, subject to change. These are 2 markers. Ideally, the melee clear on these markers, and in the range position here and here, so the range can just pick them up. So melee, everyone will pre-spread, and then they'll like the melee will try to run in quickly around like a little radius around the marker, not directly on the marker. Obviously, the range aren't going to be stacked. Range pick them up. The tank, if they clear here, the other tank can just grab it instantly, and you actually saw that in our video. So one of the off tank just stepped in and it just landed directly on the main tank. And then you see here like melees, pre-spread, and like we have some priority system that you could do. Same system for the second one, because I'm thinking like you probably only need 3 on heroic for your first kill. However, if the boss is low enough, you just have everyone clear, and then everyone but immunity class is clear, because you can immune the blow up part, which is the end of the debuff of that explosion. So if you're an immune class, you don't necessarily need to clear your stack if you have your immunity up, and that's probably going to be really important on the second or third clear. These are just a CC order of the ads, but that's all theory. We don't know where they're going to spawn. That's everything I have for Anduin. So again, the last phase, clear your stacks. Try to find a place where you can clear, where range can pick up the pools. Don't fall behind on clearing. The time you actually have to clear is shorter than you would think. And other than that, make your groups for P1 and P2. Make sure your tanks and your core classes down there know how to CC the small ads and deal with them. Riga Peace is really good down there. DKs are really good down there. Druids are really good down there. And that's really all I have for Anduin. So good luck. I'm not doing fights, or at least this type of talk, for the last 3 bosses, because it's all speculation right now. There's no point. So that's everything I have. And peace out.